I have calls from BBC, ITV.
Yeah, wow.
I was on Loose Women. But what happened as soon as the tickets were launched, they were gone in half an hour. 12,000.
What, 12,000 tickets in half an hour? Wow.
You shouldn't, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I shouldn't be doing it. Like, fuck off, I was walking up to the door and I saw this elderly couple walking down. And by elderly, I mean they were 80 plus.
Oh, wow.
Like in a venue like the Shard, how do you do the production? How do you do light? How do you make it fabric?
Welcome back to Loud&Unfiltered. We're here recording our Inside London series where we dive deep into the underground of London. We've had some amazing personalities and people on from various clubs and record labels, all to do with London. Today we've got a super exciting guest for you, but before we get into that, please make sure you subscribe, give all our content a bit of a like, please share with your friends as well. Some of the feedback we've had is amazing, so just wanted to say thanks to everybody who's been tuning in so far. Today's guest has been behind the bookings and the promotions of one of the best clubs in London for the last 15 plus years. Welcome to the podcast, Jacob. How are we doing, man?
Very good. I would say, we were just talking earlier, and it's 17 years at Fabric.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been doing the programming for Sundays, and then obviously involved in the wider Fabric doings as well. It's been a long time.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted to get straight into, really. Like, you've been there 17 years and you've been running a party every Sunday for 17 years. I mean, what is so special about running a party on a Sunday and to keep doing it every single Sunday that long?
To be honest,
madness.
Yeah, actually started even earlier because my Sundays, I started a party called Wet Yourself. It was in 2007, together with Peter Pixel and Cormac. And we actually, if you really want the whole Sunday, because it's actually even longer than that. So that's 2007. But prior that, I was doing the bookings at a venue called Cafe 1001 Brick Lane.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a joint smoking cafe before the smoking ban. It was quite, people would go in, have a spliff, even like the people behind the bar would have a spliff and serve customers.
Oh, right, nice.
Yeah. And I started, I was booking first the first room in there, and then we opened the second room. In the beginning, it was just a small little cafe. And then we found this room behind, we opened it up. And I booked 7 days a week, like different things. It was everything from like art to, drum and bass. So I kind of followed, actually, fun enough. I very much looked up to what Fabric was doing at the time. They very much had like a style. So like Fridays was like drum and bass.
Yeah.
Saturdays were house and techno, etc. And it's obviously creating something that has the same that people expect. So I used that formula, I guess, or stole it, whatever. Yeah. And because we finished at 12, I mimicked the Friday and Saturdays of Fabric. So Fridays for drum and bass.
Yeah. And then people would then obviously go on to Fabric. You like a feeder bar.
They would go on to Fabric. We also did our own, started doing our own after parties. But it was basically, we did Friday was, and this is from 2005 actually. I was doing this, so there was everyone in the beginning set up for the drum and bass night that you couldn't do drum and bass in Brick Lane, but we proved them wrong. And at the end, we were like, we had a good 350, 400 people on every Friday night.
Oh, it's not that massive of a venue as well. So
no, it was rammed. Really good things. Then obviously Saturday house and techno, and Sunday I also put so it's like minimal and like that, and that time, like the sort of minimal scene was really creative, experimental. So it was not, it was a really exciting time for that sort of sound. And that was a Sunday party called Retox at the time.
Yes, I remember this party. Yeah, I went to a few of them. Yeah.
So that Sunday party, then we pushed people on to Retox. And I guess I'm now going into explaining the whole
man, we've got all day today. Just get the full history.
It's a long story, but like if you just try and zoom in on the Sundays, so we had that relationship with Retox, but we've sent a lot of people that way, and from that minimal side, then at the same time, I'd become really good friends with Peter and Cormac, and they were very involved in this sort of, I guess that time in Shoreditch was, the new rave scene, club kids,
Yeah.
like in the queer scene. And there was some really amazing parts. People dressed up really amazing. They were very free. Um, and I had this idea of doing a party where you could mix the two audiences. So
Yeah.
there was a very famous event at Hoxton Bar and Grill, um, where for fashionistas, there was a huge queue every week, and everyone would
Yeah.
like dress up in crazy, amazing sort of homemade outfits or like.
Okay, amazing. Yeah.
So they finished at 12 on a Sunday. And then I had my own thing from Brick Lane finishing also at 12. So I'd had to find a venue in between where we could get the two crowds together.
Right.
So
Okay.
basically, we would go up against Retox, I guess,
Right. Okay.
And so we found Aquarium. So Aquarium had
Yeah.
a swimming pool.
Yeah, the one with swim pool. Yeah. I always found that a bit strange.
It
for a
was
club.
it was strange, and we didn't really know how to implement it, but that's why the name, because people often ask, like, why was it called
Right,
Wet
okay,
Yourself?
yeah.
So it was called Wet Yourself because it had a swimming pool, and I think the name was like really appealed, a lot to that queer audience. They found it really fun. Some people like started showing up just in swimsuits, like kind of fashionista.
Oh wow, amazing
swimsuits, but then we managed to.
I love that. So it felt very, very free, and like
It
people
was,
were like,
I think
they were like expressing themselves and stuff like that.
What made it really special was that we managed to kind of let the Brick Lane crowd, as I would call it, was very like, it was Italian, Spanish, Japanese, like very multicultural. That was into this new like minimal sound, I guess, minimal techno, and so fusing that crowd with more queer like club kids crowd, but they were very much into, there was like the neo disco, electro, very noisy electro thing. And so there was like two rooms, and they were quite different, the crowd's different, but somehow it just created this really amazing party where everyone sort of respected each other, and there was no rules. People would go in the pools. I mean, there was some really like that pool was like you didn't want to go in, but then at some point you would just ended up in the jacuzzi and you didn't know how you ended.
I think I only ever went there once, and obviously I ended up in the jacuzzi. I mean, it was a great concept for a party, but I mean, it sounds like there was a certain time or there was a certain movement happening in London around that time that maybe still there now or not, but it just felt like there was a buzz around London, and
it was
what was going on.
It was a really really special time, and also like for people, I think, expressing themselves, but it didn't feel so divided, which I sometimes find that things are now, and when we grew, we became, the Sunday party in Aquarium, and we had some artists that, Miss Kitten, Ellen Alien, they played for us, and they were like, oh, we only want to play it with yourself. So like,
okay, amazing.
This is the party. Brilliant. And that was, what brought us to the point where Fabric came to approach us.
Right, okay.
And then asked us.
That must be a pretty good feeling for
it was. I mean, there was
Fabric to come and approach us.
Yeah, I think it was all of our views. I mean, personally, I listened when I came from Denmark, and I was just, I was at Fabric. I was regular at Fabric, and especially I loved drum and bass. I loved I was there every weekend.
Yeah, okay.
And I was just like, how do I get into this? How do I get to play here? And everyone was like, just forget about it. It's impossible to get a gig at Fabric. And it was literally, I just had this, this is my gap, the Sunday.
Right, okay, so
I was DTPM on a Sunday, but it stopped. And so we knew the possibility was there. And they approached us. And I think that question is probably the hardest decision we did was that when they asked us, we turned them down the first time.
Oh wow! So you wanted to be in somewhere so much, and then you turned them down.
We wanted it so much.
It just wasn't right, or
but we felt we weren't ready at that time.
Right. Okay.
And with how it was approached to us and stuff, and we felt like really overwhelmed. But we made that decision, and I remember making that decision. I just feel like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Wow.
But it was, and it's something I often say to people when I talk to them, advise them in careers and stuff, is that sometimes the most important decision you make, or that can bring you forward, is actually saying no. When the dream appears, is actually to wait,
until you're ready. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it can be a venue, it can be like offers, it can be a manager that comes and go, I want a manager, but maybe it's not the right man. It's just having that ability to kind of like just wait that little bit more. And we did, and we waited, and then I think when we said no, Fabi got really keen. I think.
Right, okay, yeah. Sometimes saying no, it's like makes you want you more, isn't it?
Sean and Judy both been there. Sean was he came a lot, and I think he just kind of said, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna get them." And then I only think it went upstairs, like when we said no. It's like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna get these Residency guys. What happened?" And they said, "Oh, let's go back to them then."
Yeah.
So we came back. We came in there. We came in what was invited in by Cameron and Keith, the owners of Fabric, and then they basically gave us an offer that we couldn't say no. Let me say, was the right offer.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
And they really wanted to support us and with our vision, and were willing to sort of also understand that we would need to grow into it.
Yeah. Would you say you're like one of the longest running parties now in London? We've sustained in the same place every weekend. There can't be many out there, I would have thought. So that's a testament to you guys, and that you've kept that. And
we do obviously Red Yourself. So Red Yourself was then after that, from 2007, we then moved to Fabric 2009, and then we were every week, every Sunday for the following 11 years, I think, 12 years.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So we played every Sunday, and then after that, we decided Red Yourself grew massively. We had Residency in Space in Ibiza. We did.
Oh wow!
We did the main room on the Thursday for a whole season. So we did every Thursday there, and then back to Fabric.
Oh, wow. Yeah, some proper rock star stuff. That.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, we had Resident in the Edge in Sao Paulo, Rex in Paris. We were kind of the brand was really.
Yeah, and you were flying. Were you flying around to all these parties?
Yeah, we were the residents. Yeah, we played all of them. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So it was
amazing.
Yeah, so it was full on. That first season in Ibiza was incredible. We booked because we also, our style was very, we would do both. We could have techno one week and we could have minimal artists the next week. So we were kind of very fluent, and also between the three of us as resident DJs, we were very different, but it somehow worked,
Okay.
I was more on the minimal side. Cormac was more, he could flow into more disco-y, old school housey techno stuff. Peter, is an amazing producer, and he produced a lot of his own, which is more sort of the melodic stuff at the time.
Okay, so he had a really nice mix between
exactly. But then we could also book everyone. So people Solomon would play for us, but he played for us when he was really fresh with DIY, swimming, and they didn't play Saturdays, so that was a foundation. But then we'd also have Chris Liebing or Ellen Alien, Miss Kitten, and we would have, in the Space Ibiza series, we had Jeff Mills, we had Ben Cluck, Marcel, and
okay, so it's a different set, a lot of artists there in it.
Both Marcel played, he played Red Yourself quite regularly on the Sunday. We had them both back to back. All night long in room 2, I remember. That was very early on as well. And then we brought that to Ibiza. That's the first time they'd ever played Ibiza, been booked in Ibiza.
Oh, right. Okay, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
So Nina as well, she warmed up for us.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's mad.
CO Plex as well, yeah. So a lot of these names, because we're so old.
Yeah.
But we were very, I think we were very good at picking, because as soon as they went on to Saturday Fabric, they were our reach that,
right, okay. So you used to be able to go and find these talents.
So we had to find
before the main Fabric book ever
did, So I think that was kind of our talent where we're good
Yeah.
at. It's like picking and also always supporting the local talent. So that was like a really big thing
Yeah.
for us, is to bring them along. And then when Regis, we decided to stop, Cormac really needed to express himself more and create his own identity around his own artists, whereas he's done so amazingly. He's absolutely killing it, worldwide,
Yeah, amazing, man.
with his own label, and he really needed to do that. And I think, and Pete, like all of us, really needed to like sort of do our own, because we've done it for so long.
Yeah.
But we still do Wed Yourself, me and Peter.
Yeah. So yeah, I was going to ask, how has the party kind of evolved then since those early days now, and are you still supporting like local talent? Has like the sound changed, or like how has it kind of evolved?
I would
into
say
what
like
it is now?
since Cormac left, me and Peter, we probably are more closer to each other sound-wise. It has become more streamlined as a sound.
Yeah. Okay.
And we do maybe like 4 or 5 shows a year. Give more time to the youngsters, give some other people some opportunities. But to be fair, we are still, one of the, if not the most busy Sunday party when we do it. So we still got.
Oh, right, you mean when you played?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. So that's pretty cool. That means you got a loyal following then. That we keep coming back. Is it the same people that come every Sunday, or is
I think
the crowd's obviously grown up with
really,
you? Kind of
I mean, again, doing the Sundays for so long, we've seen massive off, especially me. Obviously, I've been, when both Peter and Cormac left Fabric in a sense, but I still do all the bookings for Sundays.
Right, okay.
Created some other brands as well within Fabric, one being Rave Rabbit, which is more of a minimal sound with Giacomo, an Italian promoter who's also an event manager at Fabric. That's a bi-monthly party. Actually, coming up to the 6th celebration soon. 6-year celebration. And we've gone from like on our height, 2012. We did 12. It was about 1,200 something average every Sunday.
Right, wow, okay.
We did a resident night on a normal Sunday, and we had 1,800 people. It was during the Olympics.
Oh wow, okay.
But that that was when we were at our height.
Yeah.
Then we saw just the audience, Sunday audiences, declined massively, and I think it comes in waves.
Right, okay, yeah.
There was a really big. Like, there used to be lots of big Sunday. There was Clandestino at the end, as I said.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Retox, there was other, there's been lots who's been trying to come in on the scene, but, for a long period, it's just been me still flying the flag.
Oh, right, okay, you're still doing it to today.
Yeah, and there was a point, I think especially after lockdown, where I thought, like, is it even... is there, can we still do a Sunday party? Like that was, our numbers was dwindling down, and it becomes, and it's a catch-22 scenario. You can't really book a bigger artist because you don't have the audience. But then as you don't have like more bigger artists, then you don't get, so it's like a catch-22, and there's nobody else is doing any Sunday parties. So people they don't really think of Sunday for a day to go out. So that was a moment, but then, I changed some things. I relaunched Sundays, so I'm just chatting away.
No, mate, that's the point of the podcast. No, that's the point of the podcast. I'm just looking at. I've got some funny stories that I want to ask you. You keep going about, because I want to know about all this history, and I'm sure a lot of our audience do.
Yeah,
it's all about finding out stories from London and club history from London. So. What you're telling me now is going to lead on to a lot of the questions I'm going to ask.
So I'll just
keep going, mate. Yeah, no, if I fall asleep, that's when.
So I'll just say so. So what happened is, I had to have an honest concept. I had to redo something with Sundays. So because it was just called Sundays at Fabric after Wed Yourself, and then I relaunched it as Come As You Are.
Right. Okay.
Which is funny because it was like just to sort of say like we as a concept, but there was always going to be free tickets. So it's like no matter how, like what financial situation you're in, you can come, but you need to come early. So we're dropping 500 free tickets before midnight.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, so that was
because it's never been a Sunday after party. It's always been like kind of a Sunday evening time.
Obviously,
so
we will have people that comes, but it is its own thing. You know?
Yeah.
So that was it. Then the funny thing is, I said that to the marketing team at Fabric. I said, Come As You Are. And so it's a good name, but it's too long. We have to narrow it down. So they narrowed it down to being Kaya, and that's the name of my daughter.
Oh, really?
And I didn't plan it. Like, people think I'd planned it, but I didn't.
Oh, wow.
But it's quite, it just, there's this little funny thing to it. So that's quite nice.
Oh, yeah, amazing. Oh, that's brilliant.
So I'll obviously will tell her I named it after you, but once she gets old enough. So yeah, and by doing that, I started a new concept with artists where I was inviting them more to do all night long sets.
Right. Okay. Nice.
And give them more, like, also without going too much into it, making them more part of the night financially as well, instead of just going like, here's a fee.
Right. Okay.
And we are alone, and the artist takes the fee, and then they get,
yeah, that's it. Then they're gone, and
that model is really difficult. And I think for a lot of promoters, in general, what I hear is that it is difficult when especially dealing with an agent that needs to get paid, a manager that needs to be paid, and and an artist that needs to be paid, but we need this, but they sometimes don't understand the backside of the financial situation of, it's just simply not possible. You might want to play here, but so being actually very open with, fabrics costs are astronomical. Like, just for
I can imagine.
Where we are situated in the city, all the security we have to have, because we have so many entrances. Our welfare team, which we are very proud of, to on every,
make sure everyone's okay, and
all those things. So for a small Sunday night, my break even is really high, like just under a cost. So I need, before I can make the first pound, I need like 400 people in the venue.
Oh, right, okay.
So then it becomes hard to book an artist. But then I changed the thing around and a lot of artists and also agents were quite receptive to looking at it differently for the Sundays.
Yeah.
It's different. Friday and Saturday, it's a different scenario,
Yeah, I get that,
with 2,000 people and full-on ticket price. This is essentially a free party. And so I managed to get some bigger, like, people like Dr. Banana, Black Loops, and I did a whole series with Ninkasi, who was really supported, actually.
Okay.
This, and they big shout out to the agency as a whole for, like, sort of doing that, because they helped invigorate, I think, Sundays. And
did the artists like having a bit more of that creative freedom then to
but then also
create the night, maybe pick who the warm up residents were going to be and things like that,
but I think
the decoration, maybe.
So that concept goes out both to artists but also labels. I will also say to a label, like, come in, but it's like a promoter deal rather than, so we do it together. And obviously I help with and we have the marketing team, etc. But basically changing those small bits and getting people more involved in the night and understanding the financials helped the overall Sunday. And now we are back in a really healthy place, where we're looking at about 500 to 600 every Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Obviously some goes up, and some go down a little bit, but in general terms, that's our average now. And it's very, I'm really happy with it, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. So I've heard about a bit of a funny story that went viral a few years ago. So we were talking about the different types of crowd that come in. I know an elderly Polish crowd couple.
Oh God!
That came to your party. I mean, how did that come about?
That was like the biggest viral story I think has ever happened in February. Even the closure wasn't that big, It was a wet dissolve night, actually, and I was just walking down to the club. No, I was walking up to the door, and I saw this elderly couple walking down. And by elderly, I mean they were 80 plus.
Oh, wow! Right, okay.
One of them was on crutches, and I was, concerned. So I just said, "Hi, are you okay?" And they didn't really communicate back, and I thought, oh, it must be someone the staff. So we sometimes do that. I've done it myself as well.
Yeah.
Like, you bring a parent in to show them around.
Just have a look.
A grandparent, it's happened,
Yeah.
So I went to the door and they said, no, they had tickets, you know. So they've just, yeah. So they bought tickets, and you know, they just walked in. So what can you do? Like, they bought tickets. So then I walked downstairs, and because I wasn't happy with that, you know. I was like, I want to at least make sure they're all right.
Yeah.
So
because there's a lot of stairs in Fabric.
No, there's a lot of stairs, and like,
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure they hadn't accidentally bought a ticket for something that wasn't, you know. So
Yeah.
I tried to speak to them, but they didn't speak English at all.
Right. Okay.
So I got a hold of a friend of mine who's Polish, who came over, who then translated for them, and then I was like, you know, welcome to Fabric. Oh, yes, thank you. And I was like, so you know why you're here, sort of thing, you know, like, in a gentle way. And they were like, yeah, we've come from Poland. We've seen like these London clubs, and we said to ourselves, we really want to experience Fabric and come here. And we know that it finishes at 5 a.m. and the first train is at 5:30.
That sounds like a couple of teenagers.
Yeah, exactly. They even planned like to stay to the end, you know, and I said, can I get you a drink? And, you know, she was like, yeah, can I have a cup of tea? Which we didn't serve, you know, but I ran out. I ran out. I got from the shop, got a cup of tea. He had like a shot, and then, you know, and it was amazing because the whole night just, you know, everyone was just around him on the dance floor with their crutches on, and you know, they were state. That was, you know, somebody gave him the elder guy a hat. He was dancing with them wearing. And then
so they got proper stuck in.
I came home in the morning, and I just before I went to bed, because there's so many people that asked me about who are these people.
Yeah.
So I just wrote this. It was kind of just to my friends. It's this little message of, you know, just this lovely couple, and, you know, it was great, and blah blah blah, and then that post just went like next level viral. It was like every time I updated. It was like 1,000 people, 1,000.
Oh wow!
1,000, and then, you know, and then I went to bed. This is the morning, obviously, but then when I wake up in the afternoon, obviously a bit jaded and everything, I have calls from BBC, ITV.
Oh wow! It properly went.
Wake Up America, CNN. You know. Like world news. Like,
did you think someone else had happened, or
yeah, no, it was insane. And obviously the marketing team of Fabric, they were also like, you need to wake up, and we had to set off a whole a whole team just to deal with, you know, the press, the incoming press from it.
Yeah, wow.
You know, I was on Loose Women, you know.
Oh really? Did you go on there?
I didn't know, but I was interviewed live, which was so funny because they put the Wet Yourself logo up.
Right,
so wet yourself on Loose Women. It was in his cell.
Oh, brilliant!
Was like funny, and then they were like raving, and they were just taken on by everyone. But I think it was because it's like a story that people really can relate to,
and connected with, yeah. And
really, it raised an important thing because, you know, my dad came to see me play a few times actually, and he was 84 when he came the last time.
Right, okay. Yeah.
He was in a DJ booth with me, and I remember people asked him when he was in there. That's probably why I was more on it when I saw them, because my dad was very old as well.
Yeah.
And I remember people asking him, you know, how old he was, and he said like, I'm a 19-year-old boy trapped inside an 80-year-old vessel.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. and I very much think that, you know, sometimes you ask somebody, I'll come to Fabric, I'll come out, I'm too old for that. And they're like 35, you know, or whatever. You know, like, what are you talking about? You know, like, there's this conception that at some point you become too old to go out. And like, you know, or you shouldn't, you know, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I shouldn't be doing it. Like, fuck off, you know?
Yeah,
like,
come on.
You know, you there's never a time where you get too old to go and enjoy music. In fact, it becomes, you know, more and more important, I think, to connect to your inner child, to expression.
Yeah, and also I think Fabric's been very good. It's a safe space to come and do that if you are maybe a little bit older, or and things like that. And I want to know, have they ever come back, or have you? Did you remain in contact?
But I will say, I got a message. I got a letter from him only 4 months ago, I think.
Oh really? Oh, okay, amazing.
An email, to say, Now, when was it?
Can you book this ice? We're coming back or something
Yeah.
like that.
No, it was just like, I hope everything is fine, and I've kept in contact with them
Amazing.
actually. Yeah, a letter here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're well, and I wish them. I'll send them this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's
I'd like to know that they're still being talked about.
Nukhil, yeah.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
like to invite him over again.
Okay. All right, perfect. So yeah, we spoke a lot about fabric and work yourself. How has your role kind of evolved with the fabric team over time, and obviously you doing stuff outside of fabric now with the fabric brands and
Yeah.
stuff like that. How is it your role evolved?
So I think my role has evolved and fabric has evolved, like like together. I guess as fabric has evolved, I have evolved as well.
Yeah.
Now we've started very heavily doing world touring,
Right. Okay.
which is something I did. Obviously, we did it with Red Yourself massively, as I
Yeah.
explained before, and I think part of the reason we were so successful in doing is that fabric didn't do it.
Right. Okay.
Fabric was
Yeah.
very much, and Keith would very much say, like, fabric is fabric, and it only to experience it you need to come to the club.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do fabric somewhere else. That was very much the mindset. But we've revalued this and started doing these fabric shows around the world, and the response has just been incredible.
Yeah.
And we've also found that how much weight the fabric brand has in pretty much any location we go in, and it's an important thing for those locations to see fabric there, because it has so much respect. That respect comes from where we've always stayed very true to sound integrity in that way.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of it. Fabric just carries this kind of weight that other clubs that have come and gone haven't, and that does. People from around the world have come to London, been.
Yeah.
So
the label, the mix series as well. I think the mix series has been such a massive thing all over the world. Collectibles. So that started, and then we've all collectively like put in contacts of different places. Me specifically, I went on a tour to Australia.
Oh, nice! So you went on the big one then.
I was on, yeah. So I've worked with Sash for a long time, with yourself, but also Sash at Fabric, who does an incredible party in Australia.
It's in Melbourne, isn't it?
In Sydney and Melbourne, actually. Byron as well, and a lot of they do a lot. They're all over Australia.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But that was a really good partnership. We did a tour there where I DJ'd as well with Rares, Tini, Harry McKenna, and myself in Melbourne and Sydney, which was great. And we're going back again this January. We haven't announced the lineup yet, so
right, okay.
But it's there.
So, what are you going back on tour then?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, right, amazing.
Yeah, so
cool.
back in January. So that's one part. And fabric itself, we've just done incredible ADE this year, which was
well, we went to the party together.
Exactly,
yeah, we did.
Which was our first one, and we did two both sold out events. I think 3,001, 1,500, 2,000 on the second one.
Okay, amazing.
Sonar, we did our second show this year, which is again grown into a massive beast.
Yeah, and you're very heavily part of the world tours and
specifically not those shows. I mean, I was there and enjoyed it, but we are a big team, and it's headed by Andy, who's also doing just the Saturdays, but he's very much focusing on the world touring, and has done an incredible job as well, and as well the marketing team as well. So there's that we have South Africa, we got South American tour, we got lots of things,
and like even just in London, I'm seeing like there's pop-up things that are happening as well. So this podcast is all about London, and Fabric, like obviously it's probably the best club. It is the best club in London, but you're doing stuff outside of Fabric now with the Fabric brand.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I think during lockdown, we went through obviously lockdown, closed the club, but we did this series called London Unlocked. I don't know if you saw that. We did the city of London opened up for us. They supported us a lot in lockdown, and we had
amazing
to take the head off of that. We were lucky in that regard that they that they did, and grateful that they did, because we wouldn't have been here, I don't think, if they didn't.
Yeah.
But in that, as well as financial support, they also unlocked venues. So we did Tower Bridge. We did like, where did we do? Everywhere. We didn't do St. Paul's Cathedral in that round.
Oh, is this during COVID?
We did Albert Hall.
Yeah.
We did we did the Opera House. We did, I can't remember all the venues.
Yeah, but amazing spaces that you wouldn't think there would be club nights on there.
And then because we did such a good job, I think, and they were very happy with the output.
Yeah.
When we then came back, we thought, well, why don't we continue this and do more events there?
Yeah.
And we have, and that's really been, I think, taking over these cultural spaces that's normally not touched by. And also, it's something of showing how important electronic music is, because I think,
definitely, I think it helps connect with different audiences and just show how. Yeah,
just Berlin has been very much ahead for a long time, and they see on par with classical music. It's culture. But in England, really, for a long time, it's just looked upon as a drug fueled, like, no culture. It's just a nuisance or whatever. But they've come to the realization, also something financially, how much money there is in the sector. It's a massive,
it's huge,
and
especially in London as well. It's like we were always kind of been one of the leaders in that as well. So for the city of London to be supporting what you guys are doing, and you guys as a market leader putting on these amazing events in unique locations as well. You mentioned like St. Paul's, you do stuff in Museum of London. You've just got this new series in the Shard as well, I believe.
So I mean, the St. Paul's Cathedral, we did one with Patti Smith, which for me, I brought my son to that, who's was 11 at the time, and he was blown away. I was blown away. She was But then tying and legend like that together with like electronic emerging talent, which was we did there, and seeing St. Paul's Cathedral we did RIX there as well, and it was just really unique, experience, and it worked. And then we did. Early on this year, we did there's a quite funny story with Museum of London, and they gave us opportunity to host 3 rooms there, and obviously the plan was to do like a very it's like an exhibition you walk through, but there's Ming vases in there.
There's going to be a few accidents.
There's mummies. There's pieces that you can never replace.
Thousands of years old.
Is like so. So it was exciting opportunity, but also a bit nerve wracking. And what happened is that we spoke to the Museum of London. And we said, so what about the tickets? No, don't worry about it. We're so big. And I don't think they really realized that putting fabric there, what that would do with tickets. And basically they can do 12,000 tickets, but 12,000 tickets is over a whole day, thinking that every session you were there for 2 hours and you leave, then there's 2 hours and you leave. Okay. But what happened, as soon as the tickets were launched, they were gone in half an hour. 12,000.
What, 12,000 tickets in half an hour? Wow.
Like this. Wow. But they were it was people buying all the time slots, thinking we'll just get the 10 a.m. time slot to stay inside to go to the fabric show. And also the paid exhibitions, they were also sold out. People bought those tickets to go to the fabric because they were mailing Museum of London going, oh, I've got a paid ticket. Can I still go to the fabric rooms?
Yeah.
So obviously we were all concerned about the capacity and wow. So we brought the fabric security team inside as well. I know that all the bars were empty. They have 3 bars in the Museum of London. They were all empty by the end of the show. They've never made so much money on the bar. I think that's
really. And how many times is it? Was it just a one-off?
We hope to come back and do another, because in the end of the day, we I think on both sides we pulled off some really great events. It was a great event. It was just it was difficult because the the memo sort of, we had a guy called Gerald, we had Anna Wall, who's a resident at Fabric, at Night Maneuvers, who's also producing an album, a series of albums for Fabric, and so in each different room, and the sort of like the memo to them all was, this is meant to be an ambient thing.
Right.
But because there was so many people, and because, just the hall, it's like you had 3,000 people in front of me, and all of the thing, people didn't walk around. They just stood in front of the DJ expecting something to happen, basically.
Yeah.
And when you're just playing ambient stuff, so in the end, I think they all started, to add a little bit of beat.
Oh, right. Just and then that crowd up.
That escalated a little bit more. So in the end, it was a little bit like, there was some moments,
Right, okay.
But
wow.
But just managed to sort of turn that down before it actually turned into a rave, and the main masses would have.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would have been a nightmare, but what an amazing place to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then so like you said, we then had an opportunity. I was shown the shard at a viewing, and that top floor of the shard, it's on the 72nd floor. It's open air.
And so it's right at the very top then. Right, okay.
And nobody had ever done like a proper musical event on that floor.
Right, okay.
And we spoke to them, and they were very keen to try it. So we did one test event with Joyce Vaughan. We got Sennheiser involved as a sponsor to make it work. So obviously, again, as you can imagine, the cost of doing it is very high. And it was just an incredible event. We had sunset, and then we had a full moon rise. It was like the sun going down here, moon going up there.
Oh, brilliant.
The space is...
I mean, the views are incredible up there, yeah.
Views are incredible. Yeah. It's 350 capacity, so very intimate, but at the same time, you feel like you're on top of the world. And you're watching your favorite artists. So we ended up, Shard was very happy, so we've continued that series. We now have an exclusivity with the Shard.
Okay, amazing.
And we did 4 sold-out shows last year, one with Joyce Vaughan, one with Mike Skinner from the Streets, one with David August, and one with Charlotte de Witt.
Yes, I've seen a lot of the videos for the Charlotte de Witt one.
Charlotte went to BBC One recently, and they were calling her Charlotte de Witt.
Charlotte.
So
brilliant.
Yeah, so we're working right now on extending that series next year, so that will be a lot more happening.
Do you love working on those type of things? So, obviously, you're doing the club shows and everything, but do you like working on, Museum of London, the Shard, just a bit more experimental type events in unique locations?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think I would say, like, personally, it's been really, really fun. Just to pull them off, and it's really unknown, and you're working with lots of, how do you, like in a venue like the Shard, how do you do the production? How do you do light? How do you make it Fabric in this place?
That's it as well, yeah.
So, so those questions and pulling it off, and then seeing, speaking to people and they've been the best experience I've ever had, and we've linked it with Fabric as well. So again, it was like with Joyce, he played up there, and then you just walk straight down, went to the after party to Fabric.
Oh, right, brilliant. So
the same as Charlotte.
Always the promoter there, isn't it?
Yeah, and the same with Charlotte. So there's that combo offering, which is, it's an expensive ticket at the Shard.
Yeah, but it's unique.
But it's super exclusive, and it's a unique experience. Just going to that venue on a normal day is £40.
Yeah.
If you just want to stand there with no DJ, no nothing.
Yeah.
So it is worth it, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, no, amazing. I think what makes Fabric special from my point of view, there's lots of amazing characters who've worked there over the years. How integral do you think those personalities have been to the club, and people are still there, or people who've moved on or passed?
Yeah.
And like,
I think, that is obviously being an old rat myself these days. I would say, we are very important, but yeah, completely fundamental, I would say, and that goes to obviously Judy. You have to she is the queen of Fabric, and she is incredibly important to everything that is Fabric. She is Fabric, and you ask, if people ask, like, what makes it special, and part of that makes Fabric special is that we have somebody like Judy there who is it's at every single show from start. She'll be the first one there and the last one to leave.
Oh, amazing.
Or Andy. Also, as you mentioned, some that's not with us anymore, like Sean Roberts, who built, like concepts and ideas he had that we still live through now, So it's ethos. Like we all, people like Jude, like Sean, like Chris Binks, who just has just passed away. We did a big fundraiser. He was the lighting engineer at Fabric, I should say.
Yeah.
And he was there since we opened. I worked with him like every Sunday for at least 15 years. He was a dear friend to me as well. He moved on. He did Fuse, moved to Ibiza and did all the big shows, Jamie Jones, Paradise. And he started having a heart attack. But the reason why I'm going more into it as well is just to show like this sort of family thing that we have in our industry, which I think is really important. You often talked about, but with Chris recently, and it also happened with Sean. I'll explain that as well. Like we did a fundraising event for Chris like a month ago, and all massive DJs like Enzo and Rich Nix and Late Law. We pulled a lineup together in 3 days, I think, and people just dropped their gigs, whatever they had, came, played for free, and we raised money because he was stuck abroad and enough money to bring him home to London, where he managed to end his life, with his family around him who couldn't travel. So,
that just shows the family of Fabric and the community around that as well, isn't it?
The community and the same, when Sean Roberts, I think that lineup was insane. It was like,
I remember it.
NDC, Annie Mac, Daniel Avery and 1,000 more, all dropping. I think Andy came from Australia, as I remember correctly.
I think it kind of just shows how the people of Fabric are so respected within our industry and what Fabric has built, and that is like, I don't know, it's like this light beacon of what UK London club scene is all about, and that they've always led from the top, and it's been the people like yourself and Sean and Andy and Judy. They've kind of built this like kind of legendary space club community around. I think it's massively respected, not just in London but also globally as well. When you were saying people flying all in to come and celebrate those people's lives and things like that, which is something special, which I don't think you get with many other clubs, maybe because they haven't like been around as long or so I have that legacy. That was the word I was looking for. Legacy.
I really agree with you. I think like what I loved, I mean, obviously I loved the Sean show, but he was also a very big character outwards. But I would say, what was amazing for Chris was that we, somebody that's behind the scenes, behind the lights, but was equally a big, like all of us in our industry knew him. But the wider audience, the clubbers wouldn't have known his name, but they were into his shows so many times. And that's why I think, it was really important. On that night, we had, I think, 8 lighting engineers who came. They all did an hour each. Like,
oh, really? Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So it's also showing, because all the sound engineers, lighting engineers, the whole team that creates night, because we talk about what is Fabric. It's Judy and it's Sean and it's Andy, but it's also Matt who does the sound, or Sans who was before him. It's Chris Binks, and there's a lot of other legends that the general public don't see.
Don't know about.
They are the one. They are equally in equal parts what makes Fabric unique, and who we bring out when we do our shows. Do the sound, the lights at the Shard.
Oh, okay. So they come into when you do everything. Oh, amazing! I love that.
Oh, Roberto, I should say.
I was going to say, I hope you haven't forgotten.
Oh God, he's gonna kill me. Yeah, Roberto, who does our artwork and has done for years.
Right. Okay. Amazing.
Jesus. Oh,
God, brilliant.
I'm gonna get.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna ask you one more question on Fabric, and then I want to get into what you kind of do outside of that as well. like obviously we're talking about Fabric's legacy. Why do you think they have? We've touched on it a little bit. Why do you think they have stayed at the top of the game for decades? And what's kind of the secret? Is it that family
I think
vibe, or what
I
is it?
honestly think it is the family and this like that we have a mission and there's some rules like
Yeah,
you it's like old school, you know, like you do this, you don't this is how you treat an artist. This is how you should
right.
do.
Okay, yeah,
No, we're not gonna book this. We can book that. We can, you know, like there's some rules in the game and some things we've stuck to. And I guess because we got these dinosaurs like you know myself and Julie, whatever, you know, those principles has continued. And you know, and then you can also say, you know, again going back to Chris, you know, his daughter is now artist liaison in Fabric.
Oh, really? Okay,
And you see the next generation, you know, and some of the people that you know I've taught or you know Judy teaches or whatever. Like we keep those things, and it's like it's like family. It's almost
yeah.
like
And,
this is how
you
we
pass on the
this is how
principles,
we
and
do things, you know,
yeah,
like, and you know, and I think that is what has kept us who we are because that formula works. And it's funny, you know, because you were saying about it's a little bit like a recipe in food, just to
yeah.
tap into the food thing.
Yeah, that's you said quite perfectly. And that's what I was going to ask you. So yeah, I mean, what do you do outside of Fabric? I hear you do have a couple of restaurants. So
I do.
I want to know what better, looking after the chefs or looking after the DJs?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think an equal part. They're actually very closely linked. I think for me, I've always seen food and music.
Yeah,
is like it's very similar. And actually, when you cook, you know, you're thinking in your head. You know, I can think a recipe up and I can taste it. You know, and the same thing. I can also mix in my head. I can go, oh yeah, that before a gig, I'll just literally just sit and just think the tunes I'll go through, or you do it obviously live when you're playing and stuff. So it's very much like being able to both visualize, but also taste and hear, like all those things
yeah.
connected. And just to go back in the history again, from when I first came to London, my sort of way in was a combination to food and music. So there was a record store in Camden called Vinyl Addiction. It was owned by Plum DJs, Finger Licking Records.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
So it was Plum DJs, Crafty Cuts, Solar Man, all those people. They were massive at the time. They actually just started that Friday night called Eargasm. That time, this must be like 2004, something like that. Around that time, 2005 maybe. Yeah, and they were looking for a chef in they had a restaurant upstairs and then they had a record store downstairs.
Right. Okay.
And I applied. So I'd worked in restaurants as a chef, no, as a waiter. I thought I was pretty good at cooking food, but I've never actually been a chef.
Oh, right, okay.
But I just blagged it. It might be the first time they actually hear it if they ever see this podcast. But I just went in and just said, yeah, I've been a chef in Denmark, you know, a young chef in Denmark. I've worked as
Brilliant.
and I got the job. They also knew that I was into music. So
yeah.
I think it was a good deal. I think I got 350 quid a week plus £50 to spend in the record shop as a bonus per week.
Brilliant.
And I just winged it basically. I just you know, I made up the you know, but those things was head chefs. There was already chefs there, so I had to come in and be like, "This is how we're gonna do it." So I had
so you came in above them.
It was a head chef role.
Oh, right, okay.
Do the rota, like, but I just made it. I just winged it.
What type of chef were you? Not Gordon Ramsay style?
I was quite relaxed, you know. Like we would
effing and blinding over the chicken.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I think I was quite young. I was younger than quite a few of the other chefs that was there. So actually all of them, I think. So they were thought, who is this Danish guy come in? But I just went very low. I was very into local produce. So I just changed some things around, made the recipe, made the menu really simple. I mean, it was a fancy. You know, there was burgers, there was pastas, there was like breakfast and stuff. But I just got everything from the butcher, from the local.
Yeah.
So I changed those things around and it instantly just became bigger because of the produce.
Amazing. Yeah.
So,
and have you carried that through into your new projects now, your new restaurant?
So then, it was just to sort of explain, because actually that route, then I learned all the DJs, got to know all the DJs through my food. My DJ was DJ Chef back then. So
Right.
that was
Okay.
actually, so it was very connected to two things. And I also did the food at 1001 because they didn't used to have food there. So I
Right.
put
Okay.
food on there. So food, music. And then, yeah, so I opened a restaurant it's 10 years ago now. What is 2015, I think? Yeah, we opened Oko. And it's a Japanese restaurant. And
I think that's where we're going for our Christmas party.
I think it is,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
In Broadway Market, and we've just opened a second one now in Victoria Park.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, so that's going really well. Yeah, we got a little karaoke room downstairs, but it's just been a really nice. In lockdown, I went back then. I worked as a chef there.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're still active then.
I could.
A little bit.
There's still a recipe. Look,
Are you going to be cooking for us or Christmas?
I won't, but you can. I have one of my recipes is on the menu there.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, it's
All
like
right, we'll make sure.
a tofu karaage, which is fucking amazing.
Okay. All right, we'll make sure we'll
Obviously,
check
I'm
that
allowed to
out.
swear on this podcast.
Yeah, of course you are. It's called Loud and Unfiltered for a reason. You can
Oh,
say
you should have
fuck
told
off,
him from the
fuck
start.
off,
I would
you
have
can
been
say
way more
anything.
loud.
You can say anything. So I mean that you might want to swear on the next one I ask you. So like I just want to talk about London briefly before we kind of round this up. It's like, where do you think London is at the minute with the scene? And are there any parties or clubs that you think are really pushing the scene forward and kind of making things happen? Because I mean, you've seen the whole thing over the years, but where do you think the scene's at the minute, and what are you celebrating out there?
I think that we had a very very difficult time straight after lockdown because we basically lost. There was all these clubbers who were like 19, just ready to go out, and then they were locked up for 2 years. And
that's it.
On the other side, they kind of missed that. And we had to retrain. It's like a missing gap. The missing
you have to educate them as well. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
I feel that's coming back, and I feel I can see it from my own side. I can also see it in the scene, and I really like as well musically to see that it's coming in a circle again. People are digging more for records are still big, and I see a lot of the kids there. They're out buying vinyl, out digging for music. They're not necessarily like we have all these AI things that are happening, exciting things digitally, but actually, if you look at the kids, a lot of it is going the other way, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Obviously there's two sides to it in the industry, but I think there's really exciting artists, some really cool parties out there. Also venues, as much as we've lost a lot, I also see a lot of cool little bits happening here and there. Like I also play in a little venue called Little Portland Street.
I've heard a lot of good things about that.
A little secret, beautiful club in West End.
It's not a secret anymore.
No. Well, I think technically it's still a secret. But there's also, a lot of other small like clubs around that's open recently who are doing well. So I think London needs that small capacity club to give room to, new promoters, growing artists growing up. Because
I was going to say new artists, definitely.
But then you also see this massive. I mean, I've never been personally a fan of the big venues. I think all respect to Printworks and to drum sets and what they do. There's a market for it, obviously.
Yeah,
it's not for me. It never has been. I feel like I'm in a massive queue. And then
all night.
and then by the time you come down to the bottom, you realize there's nothing at the bottom, and then you queue to go back again. And then you queue to get a beer, queue to go. It's just a queue. You basically just with music blaring on top of you,
clubbing queues.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, brilliant.
It's not for me, but that doesn't mean there's still a respect.
Yeah,
there's a market for that, but that corporate, I think this is again like why does Fabric do well? Because we still a club, and we just and it has those
clear to the ethos. Yeah,
it has the small rooms, and I think that scene is happening. I will, if you ask me who inspired, I have to mention Fold. I think they've done an incredible job in creating something that London really needed. I moved my studio out to Fold before it opened, and I know all the founders.
Oh, right, okay.
Very well. I saw the whole club being built, literally like from the onset, and I have all the respect for what they do, and their ethos as well. And I think they will, same as Fabric, they will stand for a long time because
they're building that legacy now, aren't they?
Have a legacy, and they're building something really from the heart, and with some strong principles, which I super respect. So
I think that's really important nowadays. I'm gonna finish this off just with a quick fire. What's your favorite club around the world? Not Fabric.
Not Fabric. Do you know what? I would have to say there's a little club in Verona called Veniceburg.
Okay.
And it's got this. I've played there quite a few times. It's a guy called Michel Preda who has the club, and it's an amazing small little club sound system.
Yeah.
I also maybe there's more Italy. Also, I recently had the honor of playing in After Capusile.
Okay, wow, yeah. There's lots of hype around that pie,
and that is a wicked party, I would say. Because there's the two questions: there's a party and there's a club, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. What's the best booking you've ever made?
The best booking I've ever made? That is really difficult. That is really, really difficult.
Oh. Well, maybe actually, why don't I change it to which is a booking that you haven't made yet that you still want to do, because that's probably going to be more top of your.
Yeah, no, because then I'll be spilling the bin Saturday. We'll just jump on it and book them,
There's still that competition going on. Yeah.
I need to.
You're not going to reveal those secrets.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, no, that's fair enough.
I can't reveal that. I would say in terms of event, if more like booking, I would say I put on a Vogue ball in Fabric about 3 years ago on another project I worked called Love Child.
Yeah.
And that was, as an event, probably one of my favorite events I've put on, just because it was mad, and we had, I don't know if you've seen The Paris is Burning. But we had one of the original ones from that come over and judge, and it was like the dancing, the music, everything was just amazing, and it was just a very new thing to see Fabric that way. So it's definitely one of my favorite events I put on, I would say.
Okay, all right, perfect. That was kind of the question I was going to ask you anyway. So I think that's a perfect time to finish, mate. I thank you so much for coming on. I've learned more about Fabric than I've learned before, and massive respect for you. You can just see the passion that you still have for doing this and wanting to push things forwards, not just for yourself, but also for the club and the London scene as well. I think the London scene is very, very privileged to have you involved and be pushing things forward as well. So thank you very much for coming on.
Really happy to be on the show. I will just, as a little NB note, say that I do have another little project that's going to happen very soon.
Yeah, okay.
Which I can't talk about yet.
There you go, just to get you excited.
You should watch it, because there's another little space opening soon, which will be legendary. It's bringing an old legend back to life. So
okay, that sounds very exciting, guys. So put in the comments what you think that is. But thanks, Jacob, for coming on.
Thanks so much.
That's it. See you next time.